In this video I'm going to show you how to use Sketch Paint Photoshop Action. Okay, so I'm going to use this photo here as an example for demonstration, and this is the effect that I'm going to create. So as you can see, the action creates this advanced, highly detailed, realistic hand-drawn effect, and also you'll see there a painting over there. So this is the area that I have brushed, and as you can see on the places where you have brushed over your photo, on that places the sketch will be more detailed, and all outside your brushed area your photo will be turned this type of sketch. Okay, so it will be turned into these outlines, and on the place where you have brushed you will have this detailed sketch. Also the painting effect will be created all over your brushed area, and then you can easily remove it on some places, and so you can make look like this, like some unfinished painting and so on. There are really a lot of options for customizing the results. Okay, let me just zoom in this a little bit so you can see how the effect looks. Okay, so let me just show you a few more examples here that I got. Okay, here as you can see you can easily remove the paint just by hiding a group of layers, so you can have a pure hand-drawn effect if you like. Okay, so from this photo I created this effect, and here I have used the painting effect also, so I have changed a little bit the textures in the background and the colors from this to this. And this is also with the painting effect. From this created this. And as you can see here we got a brush stroke there. Okay, and here let me just show you. Here you will see there a color splatter effect. Okay, so there you can achieve a lot of different types of paintings, and I'm gonna show you all that later when I customize the effect. Okay, from this and from this to this. Okay, so on this photo you can clearly see those outlines. Okay, so I have on this place where I got the color, I have brushed over that places, and all outside that brushed area you get the outlines. Okay, let me just close these windows now. Okay, so the first thing that you need to check when you open up your photo is that it's a background layer. Okay, so if you got something like this, something else, you just have to go to layer, new, and just choose a background from layer. Okay, also just click on this little arrow here to get a drop down menu, and here just go to panel options, and just make sure that the add copy to copied layers and groups option is checked. Okay, also check your image mode. It should be RGB color mode 8-bit Canon, and just go to image size, and for best results you should use the photos that are about from 20 to 4500 pixels. Okay, so I'm just gonna use this size here. Click OK. Now to load the action, just go to Window, Actions, and just click on the little arrow here, Load Actions, and just choose the action that can be downloaded. Okay. To load the brushes, you can just take a brush tool, go to right click on this little gear over here, go to load brushes, and just choose the brushes that can be downloaded. Okay, so you will see the brushes here, and what you need to do now is to just go to layer, new, and choose a new layer. Just name it brush. All letters must be lowercase. Okay, and now just choose any color. Color is not important, and all you have to do is to brush over your photo over the places that you wish to remain in details. Okay, so just make sure that opacity of the brush is set to 100, and just brush like this. And what's important here is to use a soft brush, so you have a soft transition between the detailed sketch and the background. Okay, so I like to use a little bit larger soft brush from here. Okay, not something like this. I like to use to have a smoother transition. I just use a larger brush like this. Okay, so I have already done brushing before. Let me just check. Oops. Here it is. Okay, so as I said, the colors don't matter. Just choose some color that you can easily see what you have brushed. And after you finish with brushing, just select the sketch paint folder, and when you open, you will see the action here. And all you have to do now is to just play the action. So the action is about a few minutes to complete. It depends on your image size. Okay, so what you can do is you can minimize the Photoshop after playing the action. That should fasten the process a little bit. So I'm going to pause the video here and get back when the action is finished. So then I'm going to go throughout all the layers to show you how can you customize the effect to get most out of the effect. Okay, so the action has just stopped. So first I will close the actions panel. And you will see that the group sketch paint will be selected automatically by the action. So the first thing that you probably want to do after you play the action is to close up all these folders. So it's going to be much easier to work with the layers. So how to quickly do that is to just leave this layer, this group selected, and just hold Control Alt buttons for PC or Command Option for a Mac, and just click on this little layer here. So that way you will close all the folders. Let's first customize. Let's just go over here. Okay, so under the into sketch paint folder, and what we got here, I'm just gonna skip all these layers and go here. It says the group is called sketch. So what is actually this is actually our sketch, the hand-drawn effect. Okay, so just open the folder and let's see what we got here. So first I'm going to customize the sketch, and then you see here we got a paint group. When you turn it on, you'll get the painting effect there. So first I'm going to customize the sketch effect. So and then if you wish to use to have only a hand-drawn effect, just save your photo, and if you wish to add painting effect, I'm gonna show you how to do that. Okay, and then we're gonna go to the adjustments. So first what we got here is a sketch sharpen. So if I turn off and on this layer, you'll see the difference. Let's just zoom in a little bit. Okay, by changing the opacity of this layer, you will actually change the amount of sharpen. So if I just click over here and just drag it to the side, I will remove the sharpen. Okay, but if I drag into the other side, you'll see it says it's a 100%, and you will see there a lot of sharpen. Okay, so just play with this opacity here. So just click and drag into the side to set some value that you like. Okay, let's use something like this. Okay, so let's see what we got here. This is it says a highlight pencil sketch, and this is actually the white pencil strokes that are appearing on your highlighted areas in your photo, and their opacity is 25, so they're not too much visible. And what you can do is increase to 100, so you can see. Okay, there also has the layer mask, so now it depends on your photo, but sometimes the effect will not be much visible, so just hold the shift button and turn off its layer mask. We get more of the effect. Okay, I'm just gonna lower its opacity to something like this, and it's the subject highlights. So if you just click and drag here, okay, so it will highlight it will increase the density of the highlights on your photo. I'm just gonna use something like this. So here we got the overall sketch color, and when you double click on this box here, what you can do is you can easily just change the color. Okay, so you can use any color that you like. I'm gonna leave this default color. Okay, and here it says here we got a subject brightness and contrast, and when you double click over here, what you could actually here change the exposure, okay, just by moving this cursor here. And it's actually a brightness, okay, on this way we'll change the brightness of your photo, so just increase a little bit like this. And when you change, move the cursor of the gamma correction, you will actually change the contrast. Okay, so you can see how it works. Okay, so I'll just increase the contrast a little bit, something like this. Okay, you can see the difference. And you can always click on this little arrow here to reset the adjustments to the value that was defaulted by the action. Okay, so actually I'm just gonna keep these settings here. Okay, and here we got the overlay sketch textures. So if I turn it off and on, okay, you'll see that you can easily see the textures. And when you go here into a folder, here we got a bump texture. So if adjusting, you can play with this opacity here. Okay, so it just depends on the effect that you like. Set something like this. This is the grain texture. Okay, I'm gonna just lower the and increase the opacity. Okay, so you can see the texture, how it works. Okay, I'm gonna use something like this. Here we got the crosshatch texture. Let's also increase the opacity. I'm just gonna use the default settings here. Here we got the layer increase shadow detail, and when I turn it off and on, you will see what the layer does. Okay, so you can also change its opacity. So that's the way you customize this layer. Okay, so if you just move these over here, okay, you can see the difference. I'll use these settings here. Okay, and here we got a group, a main sketch. So when you turn it off and on, you will see this is the actually sketch of your subject. So let's just open the group. Here we got the first layer, the overlay sketch 1. Okay, so you also customize the layer by changing its opacity. Okay, this is the overlay sketch 2. I also just gonna, so you just click and drag into a side. When you drag into the left side, you will lower the opacity, so the sketch will be less visible, and when you move it to the right side, the sketch will be more visible. Okay, like this. And you can always turn it off and on to see which text, which sketch is that here on your photo. And the overlay sketch 3. So turn it off and on. Okay. Just gonna lower its opacity like this. Okay, so here we got a group called subject visibility. Okay, so just open the group. Here we'll find the two overlay subject textures. Okay, so you can just play with these settings. I usually just leave them by default. Okay, you can just drag it aside and change the opacity. Also, the way you can change opacity, just click on this little arrow here and then just move this cursor to set the value that you like. Okay, so here we got the subject brightness, and just double click over here and just move this cursor here to change the brightness of your subject. Okay, like this. So you'll see that when I turn it off and turn it on, okay, I get more details visible here. So just play with these settings here. Okay, and this is the subject. So this is the you can select this layer mask here, and if you wish to remove some part of your photo, just choose a soft brush and just brush with a black color, okay, into the layer mask. So here we got the edge sketch 1. So this is the sketch that's appearing on the edges of your brushed area, and you can change its opacity over here. Okay, just set it to 100. Okay, so you can see the layer, the sketch here, and it got the layer here, the adjustment layer, edge sketch 1 visibility. So when you double click here in this window, you can change the look of this sketch. Okay, so by changing the exposure, if I just move this cursor to the right, you'll see that the sketch will be the thinner parts of the sketch will be will start uh, to remove. Okay, so if I drag it more and more into the side, you're gonna remove the whole sketch. Okay, so with this you can just control the look of the sketch. You can always get back to the previous settings. Okay, so I'm just gonna increase this a little bit like this, and here by changing the gamma correction you can change how much the effect will be, the sketch will be visible. Okay, so you can just, when you move it to right side, it will be more and more darker, more visible. Okay, just gonna lower it like this, and let's just see the sketch. Okay, and I'm gonna lower its opacity a little bit over here. Also, if you wish to remove some part of the any layer, you'll see that all the layers has a layer mask. Okay, all these sketch layers. So just select the layer mask and pick a brush tool, set foreground color to black. Okay, and while this layer mask is selected, just brush for the places where you wish to remove the sketch. Okay, so here we got the edge sketch 2. Okay, you can see. So it's also the sketch that's appearing on the edges. Gonna increase the opacity a little bit. Okay, and here we got the edge sketch 3. Let's just turn it off and on. Okay, it's something like this, something like a scribble in the edges. Okay, and you can also play with this opacity there. Just gonna use something like this, a little bit more like this. Okay, let's see what we got here. This is the group background sketch. Let's turn it off and on. Okay, so just gonna open the folder, and here we got the scribble layer. We turn it off and on. Okay, you'll see there's a scribble in the background. Okay, and its opacity is 100. You can lower its opacity if you like. And also you got the scribble visibility layer. So when you double click here and get this window, you can also change the look of the scribble. So I'm just gonna you can just change this like this. Okay, and you'll see how the sketch, the thinner parts will start removing. Okay, let's just use something like this, and I'm gonna lower the actually gamma correction, so like this, and you can always just turn it off and on to see how the layer looks. I'm just gonna leave it like this, and what I'm going to do is I want to remove this part of the scribble here. It has too much density, so I'm just gonna select this layer mask, pick a brush tool, pick a soft brush, set foreground color to black, and I'm not going to brush with 100% opacity because that way I'll remove the scribble that plays totally. So I'm just gonna lower this to something like 34. Okay, and then just gonna lower its visibility. You can then click again like this. Okay, so here we got these strong outlines, and this actually the outlines will appear all outside, actually all over the photo. So as you can see, it will outline your brushed area, and all other details in the background that are not brushed will be outlined. As you can see, this part of the jacket here. So you got opacity here to play with, and you can also double click over here and just change the look of the outlines. Okay, so just gonna increase the gamma correction to become a little bit more visible, and something like this, lower the exposure. Okay, something like this. Here we got a rogue sketch, and it's actually some a squarey sketch, okay, that will also be applied to the whole photo. So when I change its opacity 100, okay, now you can see this layer more clearly, and it's just gonna lower its opacity, something like this. And you're gonna select its layer mask and set a brush opacity to 100, and I'm just gonna brush over some parts in the background. Okay, so just gonna remove it over there, like this. Also a little bit over here, and I'm just gonna remove this over here. Okay, that's it. So you're gonna leave this opacity, maybe lower the opacity a little bit more. So as you can see, these two layers will create the outlines. And here we got the large wavy lines. When I turn them off and on, you will see, okay, I don't have too much space around the subject, so, but anyway, when I move the layer, you see, okay, so there are sketchy lines, the wavy lines, as you can see. Okay, you can also change the opacity. I'm gonna leave it like this. And here we got the background color, and when you double click here, you can change the color of the background, but I actually always leave the color here to white, and I like to change the color with this layer here. Okay. So for the case you wish to just use this hand-drawn effect, then just go to adjustments, double click here. This is the overall brightness. You can change the brightness if you like a little bit. Okay, just by moving these two cursors here, like this, you get a contrast. Okay, just click and drag. Okay, just be careful of that, it's very sensitive. Okay, you can see the difference. I'm just gonna use it like this. And what I like to do is to turn on the overall saturation layer. You see, it will add the saturation to the whole photo. And sometimes what I do is I just you can just hold the control button for PC or command for Mac and just click on the brush layer here. Select this layer mask and leave this black color, and just go to edit, fill, choose the foreground color, and then just press Ctrl D, Command D to deselect, and then press. You can just go select this layer mask. You just go to Image Adjustments, Invert, and now the saturation layer will be applied only to your subject, as you can see, not on the background. And when you double click here, you can change the saturation. Okay, I'm gonna turn this layer off, or maybe I'm gonna leave it turn it on, but I'm gonna lower the saturation. You can also add a photo tint. I usually use this layer when I use painting effect, but also you can use it in the sketch effect. So just turn it on, double click over here. You can change the density here, okay, and you can also change the filter. Okay, I'm just gonna lower it. Opacity, and here you got the color options. You got the 10 color options to choose from. So just choose a color option, turn it on, see how it looks. If you don't like it, simply try with another. You can also combine a few of color options that I like to do. Okay, so for example, I just turn off this one, turn it on, lower its opacity like this, and then try with another. Okay, so you can create a lot of different color looks. Okay. Just use this one. Maybe I will just use this one here. Okay. And what you get also here is a vignette, and you can when I turn it off and on, you'll see what it does. You can change its opacity over here, and what you can also change is its look by selecting the layer mask. Just go to right click and choose the refine mask. So you can make this vignette border actually thinner or thicker. Okay, you just leave all these settings to 0 and just play with the shift edge. So if you just increase this, all over these white areas, vignette effect will be shown. Okay, so I set this to 0. This is how the vignette looks by default, and I usually just shift the edge into the left side. Okay, like this. Click OK. So now the vignette border is thinner. Just increase opacity like this. Okay. Okay, so you got here overlay textures, add noise, and the paint effect. And I usually use these two groups when I use a painting effect. So what you can also add here is to select the background color layer. Just go to File, Open, and just choose some texture. In the README file, you'll find a link with a lot of free textures. Okay, and just double click there, and just click and drag over here, and just go place like this, and just gonna change this blending mode to this one here, and then just click on the opacity, just drag it aside. So I'm just gonna lower the opacity, something like this. Okay, and what you can also do is to add some text. So just gonna make the new layer. Actually, gonna select this layer, take a text tool, type tool, and just click over here. Just lower this to 100, and just type, for example, let's use. Okay, this is a default font. You should have it in your computer, and something like this. You can just double click over here, just change its color to white. And what I'm going to do now is double click over here, and just hold the Alt button for PC or Option for a Mac, and just click here and just drag into the side. And if I start moving this into the side, you will see that the text will start blending with the subject. So actually, you're determining the range here. So this is the range where this text should be blended with a black color. So if you just drag it more and more, it will be blended with a black color. It's the same if you do it with a white color. So just click Alt or Option here and drag this one here. So it will now start blending with the white color. So you're just gonna. You can also use the both if you like. Okay, so something like this. I also like to add the outer glow effect. Just change this blending mode to multiply. Click Enter. Oh, sorry. And just click on this color. This is the default color that Photoshop does, and just change it to black. And just gonna change the size, something like this, and lower its opacity. Okay, so this way you can add. You can also lower the opacity of the whole text if you like. So this is how you can add the text. I'm just gonna remove it right now. And if you wish to add a paint, just turn on this layer here. Here what we got the inner brush strokes. Okay, just gonna turn them off and on to see what it does. And I'm gonna turn them off. Let's just turn off all these layers and then turn them on one by one. So this is the main photo, and okay, and these are the inner paint strokes. I actually always use these two groups. So this layer will give you this great painting effect, those inner paint strokes. Okay, and what you can do is to select this layer mask here and just brush with the black color or the places that you wish to be a little bit more clearly visible like this. Okay, but still to keep the painting effect. You'll see also there's the layer, this painting stroke are fully layered. You get the short inner strokes, medium inner strokes, and long inner strokes. So what you can do is to hide some of these layers if you like. Okay, and so you will lose some of these strokes over here. The effect will look a little bit different, but actually I'll always just turn on this layer, okay, and just some brush on places that I wish to make more clearly visible. So here we got the main photo, okay, and this is the outer brush strokes. And you will see this, I got some bright line over here, and that's because when I have brushed, okay, the brushing was, I brushed a little bit outside subject, but anyway, we can easily fix that later. I'm gonna show you. Okay, so you can just, with the black color, brush over the main photo, and also, or the paint strokes, okay, you'll see, you'll just remove that. Or just brush into here and then just hold Alt button or Option and just drag into the mask over here, so you will, oops, sorry, and when you just move it over there, you will just remove, if you have that, this brighter line here, okay. And these are the outer paint strokes. So let me just, so it depends what kind of painting effect you wish. So sometimes I just use these outer brush strokes, sometimes I just turn them off. And these outer paint strokes, what you can do here, they are also layered and sorted by their size. You can just take a move tool, select some of these layers, and just click and drag. So you can just make a splatter effect this way, okay. Okay. There are a lot of splatters, so I usually just hide some of the layers like this. Okay. It all depends on the look that you wish to have. I'm just gonna actually hide these strokes. I don't want to use them now. So you got this layer mask here. This is the main layer mask, the main paint layer mask. And when you brush into this layer mask, you will remove any strokes, any of the painting effect there. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna make the effect of unfinished painting. So just go to brush tool and pick this brush here. It's called stroke brush 1. This brush came with download, okay. Just pick that brush and make sure that opacity is 100 and just select this layer mask. If you just start brushing with the black color, I'll just start removing the paint. Okay, so, and what I like to do is to make more smoother transition between the paint and the hand-drawn effect. So what I like to do is to just set opacity to 15 and just brush like this. So I will not remove the painting totally with this brushing here. I'm just gonna make a smoother transition with this. So when I brush like this, I just brush all over here. Okay, so when I just click Alt button and click on the layer mask, you will see the on these white places the paint is 100% visible. When you brush with the black, then on that place the paint is 100% not visible. Okay, so when I brush with the gray color like this, it's a 50% opacity of the black. Actually, it will be some like half visible. So then I just take brush opacity to 100 and just brush over here, like, okay. I can brush over here, but there I don't have a painting effect, but okay, anyway. But I can brush it like this. Okay, so why I have brushed over here is because my subject is here, okay, and this is the this line, this here, these brush strokes here, gray, will just smoother the transition between the 100% visible color and 100% not visible color. Okay, that's it. Sometimes I just brush immediately with a 100% brush. It depends of the look that you wish to here. Okay, so when I just click Alt or Option again here, and you'll see I got the how it gets smoother. Okay, over here. You can also use then a white color, lower the opacity like this, and add a little bit of paint. Okay, so if you wish to get paint to some places, just brush with the white. You can set it to 100. You will get the color totally. Okay, so just gonna leave it like this. Maybe brush a little bit with black, with 100% black over here. Okay, so this is the add noise layer. When I turn it on, you'll add some noise. You can change its opacity over here. This is too much, so I'm just gonna use something like this. And when I turn on the overlay textures, let's see what we got here. Here we got a paper texture. Okay, so just click and drag, and you're gonna lower its opacity like this. And this is the halftone texture. Let me just zoom in. Okay, I turn it off and on. You can see how the texture looks. And this texture is a smart object. Okay, so what you can do is just click on the little arrow here and just double click into over here, and here you can just change the size of this halftone pattern. I just set it to 1 and click OK. It will be automatically updated over here. Okay, you can also change this opacity over there. Okay, I'm just gonna use something like this. And this is the canvas texture. You can turn it on if you like to use it. And I like to use this texture, but just lower its opacity, something like this. Okay. And of course, if you make this effect, you wish to use only hand-drawn effect, simply just turn off the paint. Okay, when you turn off the paint group, you will then have only the sketch. And after you, if you use the paint, then I usually go over here and sometimes change some of these settings here. Okay, so you can just change the color option. Okay, so just see which one looks the best. Okay, so let me just use this one here, and I'm gonna leave the first color option that we used. Okay, I'm just gonna leave right there, and also gonna increase the saturation a little bit. When I use paint, I usually increase the saturation, but leave this layer mask so the saturation is only applied to the subject, not on the background. Okay, you can also apply it only to a painting effect if you like. Okay, anyway, how to do that is to just anyway, I wish to add a sharpen to the painting effect. So just select the paint group and just duplicate group, click OK, and just go to right click and choose the match group, and then click right click on this layer mask, go to apply layer mask. Okay, so just go to filter, other high pass, set radius 2 pixels, go to change blending mode hard light. You'll get, and now you can see the paint will get the sharpen. You can control the sharpen over here by changing the opacity, and I usually use higher values here. So if you wish to apply the saturation only to a painting, just select this layer here. Okay, press Ctrl or Command to make a selection, delete this layer mask, and just make sure that you have a black and white colors over here. Just click over here to make a layer mask. Okay, so on this way the saturation will be only applied to the color. Okay, so you also have the brush layer over here. So I left this layer here for the case you wish to just play the action again with a little bit changed brushed area. Okay, if you wish to get some more areas into the to be the detailed sketch and to be able to paint them, you just select this layer and just remove these two groups, and just select this layer and just brush more where you like, and then just play the action again. Okay, so let me just on the steps. Okay, so that's it, and I hope you understood everything. But if you still need any help or you got any questions, feel free to contact me anytime via my Envato profile page. Thanks.